Good evening and welcome to our Beat the Number NBA Morning Edition. My name is Abby. We're here to discuss with you this morning the top over-unders, totals, and the top spreads, point spreads for each and every game. We're trying to get ahead of those numbers for the over-unders and the spreads. This is for Monday, February the 3rd. Thank you for joining me. We're going to start off with the first game. Atlanta at the Detroit Pistons. Detroit's 3.5 point favorites, total 237. Now we're seeing 4.5. It's gone up to 4.5. A couple fours, but we're seeing a 4.5, but mainly fours. All right, we're getting this at oddslogic.com. This gives you the up-to-date information on the latest line moves, latest total moves, over-under moves, latest injury report for the up-to-date injuries. We're going to get an update here on the Atlanta-Detroit injuries, starting with the Atlanta Hawks. So we'll get an update on that right now. Trae Young, Achilles, is available to play against Detroit tonight. Clint Capella downgraded to out against Detroit. Bojan Bogdanovic, personal issues, is going to be out on Monday. Jalen Johnson, shoulder out for the season. For the Detroit Pistons, Jaden Ivey, out indefinitely. Regarding this game here, this is the Atlanta-Detroit. I do have a play on this game, but we'll break down the matchup. They have played twice. First meeting was November 8th last year, early in the season in Detroit. Detroit 2.5 point favorite, total was 227.5. Atlanta covered, but Detroit won by a point, 122-121, and went over 227. Second game, about a week ago, in Atlanta. And the Hawks were 4-point favorites. Detroit covered, and they also won 114-104. The total at that time was 233.5, and it went under. Now, last 10 games for Atlanta, 2-8. Last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 3-7 to the under. Hawks have lost 8 straight games. Out of the 8 games, they've covered 3. They've covered. The Hawks have covered. Let's see. They've covered 3 games only. Only 3 games they've covered as an underdog. And they covered 3 games as a dog. 3 out of 4 games as a dog. And they are 2-3 to the under. Detroit Pistons, 5-5 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Pistons have won 2 straight, overall 2-3, Detroit. And they are 3-2 to the over. Yeah, my play is I like the Pistons here. Atlanta, their organization is too, there's no cohesiveness. There's a lot of disorganization with the Hawks. Not playing any defense, giving up literally over 100 points a game. So definitely I like Detroit. I like the over. I do like the over in this game. So I like both. The Pistons to cover the 3.5. If you like the Pistons right now, get them at 3.5 before it gets to 4. Some books already have it at 4, but still get the 3.5 before all the books get it at 4. So like I said, I know it's gone down to 235, or even 234, but I like the over. I'm still taking the over. Over 234.5, 235, and I like Detroit 4.5. I mean 3.5, excuse me, at 3.5. Next game, I'm not going to be betting this game at all. This is a complete pass, but I will go over the game. Washington at Charlotte. It's -3 for those who are interested. Open 219. This one here has gone down to 217.5. So I will go over this game here. This is Washington at Charlotte. We're going to look at the injury report. Charlotte. Vazicek Misic, questionable with an ankle injury. Cody Martin downgraded to out for Washington in the Washington game. Joshua Okogie, hamstring out. LaMelo Ball, leg injury out. Brandon Miller, wrist injury out. Trey Mann is out with a back injury. Grant Williams out for the season. On the Washington side for the Wizards, excuse me. Alexandre Sarr, ankle downgraded, he'll be out. Marvin Bagley III, knee injury is out. Sadiq Bey out with a knee injury. Like I said, this game's a complete pass. I have no interest in this game, so I'll be moving on. Next game, Houston's at Detroit. I do have a play on this game. New York -5, total 224. Right now we're at 223.5. It's coming down to 223.5. So we're going to get the injury report for this game. We'll look at the Houston side, yes. Fred VanVleet has an ankle injury. He will not be playing on Monday. He's out. Alperen Sengun, questionable with a calf injury. Jabari Smith Jr., out indefinitely. On the New York side, for the Knicks, OG Anunoby, foot injury, is questionable to play Monday versus Houston. Mitchell Robinson out. Josh Hart, questionable with the knee injury. In regards to this game here, we'll look at the head-to-head. I do have a play on this game. They played it a year ago, last year, November 4th, in Houston. New York was favored by 2. Total was 217.5. Houston covered and won, 109.97, and was under 217.5. Right now, Houston overall, against other opposition, 6-4 the last 10 games. 6-3 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Houston's lost 2 straight games after winning 4 in a row, and they are 3-2 last 5 games, and 3-2 to the over. But Houston has covered as an underdog. They have covered, keep in mind, 4 straight games as a dog. 5 straight games, excuse me. 5 straight games as an underdog for the month of January, so they are playing well. The 2 losses they covered at Memphis, but lost by a point, 120 to 119, and went over. So that was one of the 2 losses on the road. New York, on the other hand, 7-3 last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Knicks are 4-1 last 5 games. They had won 5 in a row before the streak ended at home against the Lakers. Knicks are 3-2 to the over. So I like 2 plays here. I do like Houston. I like the Rockets. I believe let's see if it's 5.5. Yeah, we're seeing some 5.5s come up. So I like the Houston plus 5.5. I like that a lot. Even at 5, I'll take Houston, but 5.5 is better for me. And I like the over in this game. I like over 223.5, 224. I like the over in this one. So you want to get those lines early if you like Houston. Definitely grab the number and get the over. Very important. That's my play on that. Next game, Sacramento at Minnesota. -1 Minnesota. Total 223.5. Right now we're seeing -4.5, 221. So get the updates on this game. On the Minnesota side, Naz Reid, finger questionable to play in this game. Anthony Edwards, illness, still questionable to play against Sacramento. Julius Randle out with a groin injury. Dante DiVincenzo out. On the Sacramento side, for the Kings, Zach LaVine has been acquired in a trade. If you haven't heard, this is for DeAndre Fox. So that's the big trade. Well, he's not scheduled to play tonight. I guess it'll be the next game that Sacramento plays. He'll play, but he won't be playing in this game. Now I have a play on this game as well, and we're gonna do a breakdown of the game before I give you my play on this one. So this game here, They've already played 3 times. This is the fourth and final meeting. First game, October 24th, beginning of the season, in Sacramento. Minnesota's a 1-point favorite. They won 117-115, went over 222. Second game in Sacramento, November 24th. The total is 221. Minnesota's favored 1.5. Once again, Minnesota covered and won in Sacramento, 130-126 in overtime, and it went over 221. Third game was in Minnesota. This was in Minnesota, the third game. Minnesota was a 3.5-point favorite, but Sacramento covered and won that game, 115-104, and it went over 218. This one, now the last 10 games for Sacramento, 5-5 against 5-5 overall. Last 10, 2-7-1 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. Sacramento 1-4 the last 5 games. They had a disastrous road trip, very surprising, after a good homestand. And the Kings 3-2 to the over. Minnesota 6-4 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 6-4 last 10 games. Minnesota had won 5 straight. The streak ended against Washington at home. So they're 4-1 last 5 and 3-2 to the over. Yeah, the only way I can look in this game, I like Minnesota minus 4.5. Obviously, with the distractions of the major trade that went down, with DeAndre Fox not being there any longer in San Antonio, and Zach LaVine coming to Sacramento, so it's a bit of a distraction and a little bit of focus being lost, in my opinion. So this is where Minnesota has gotten Sacramento at a good time because of this situation. So I do like Minnesota here, minus 4.5. I definitely like that. As for the total, I'm not touching the total. The over-under, I'm leaving that alone. Because remember, DeAndre Fox is not there anymore, so I don't know how effective that offense is going to be now with Fox not being there. So the total's no touch. I'm not touching it. I'm just going to take... I'm just going to grab the Minnesota 4.5. And if I'm looking at a prop, I know it's early. We don't have the prop information yet, but I would look at some Malik Monk props. Maybe you want to look at some over in scoring. That's a good one actually. Over the total in points, scoring points. So I would look at that. I don't know what the number is for tomorrow, but I will definitely look into that. If I see some value, I'll give it to you guys tomorrow in my next video for player props, NBA player props. So I'll keep that in mind for tomorrow's games. Next game we're going to look at. Milwaukee at OKC, minus 7.5 OKC, total 234. Right now it's mainly minus 10s, and it's 230. But the total's come down though, it's 232.5. Now we're seeing 11s come up, so we're seeing 11s pop up now. We'll look into this game further. But it's mainly 10.5s. 11s are popping up. Let's keep that. So if you like OKC, you want to get the 10.5 before it gets to 11. If you get 11, I'll still take OKC. But grab it still early. Try and grab that quickly. On the Milwaukee side for the Bucks, Bobby Portis is out. Well, actually, he's questionable. Personal reasons, so you may see some action tomorrow. It's 50-50. Minnesota side. I'm sorry. OKC side, excuse me. Oklahoma City. Alex Caruso, ankle questionable. Jalen Williams, wrist questionable. Casson Wallace, shoulder questionable to play Monday. Chet Holmgren out indefinitely. I don't. Let me just look here. The only way I can play this game is the over 232.5. I know Milwaukee came off a game. They did play. Memphis last night, and they lost. But I know it's a back-to-back, but I still like the over in this game, 232. Now we are going to break this down further. We'll look at the matchups first. I know just in case any of you guys want to know the history of these two teams this season. And actually, they did play one game this season. December 17th at OKC. OKC is -5, but Milwaukee covered in 97-81, under 215.5. Milwaukee, after that, they are 6-4 last 10 games, 6-4 against the spread, and 8-2 to the over. Milwaukee's lost 3 straight games. They're 1-4 last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over. So the defense is pretty bad. They're giving up a lot of points. That's why I like the over 232.5. Okay, so you should have their way and get to the over. I like that. OKC 7-3 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 8-1 to the over. OKC, there's 3-2 last 5 games, and are 4-0-1 to the over. Yeah, so I definitely like the over here. Not playing the side, I like the over. And I look at it, Oklahoma City team total over. Look for the team total over as well. That's another good angle. But we don't have the numbers obviously for that till tomorrow, so I'll let you know what that is, and I'm going to let you know if I'm going to play that or not. But I'm leaning towards playing that as well as the over for the full game at 232.5. Yeah. Next game, San Antonio at Memphis. So Memphis played yesterday. They're back home. They've got San Antonio, so the opening number is -6, total 242. And now it's 240. We're seeing 241.5, 240s are coming up too. Mainly 240, we'll say 241.5. And the spread now is at 5.5. So look at the injury report, San Antonio. We'll check this out now. So as you know, DeAndre Fox, he's not going to be playing in this game against in a San Antonio uniform. DeAndre Fox, he will play the next game after this, but not in this game. The only thing is Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama right now, he has an illness, so we're going to get an update here now to see if he's able to play. He's actually questionable. Wembanyama is questionable to play against Memphis in this game. On the Memphis side, for injuries, we are looking at Ja Morant, questionable to play with a shoulder injury. Vince Williams Jr., foot out. Marcus Smart, finger out. Jared Jackson III, foot out. This game here, let me look at the history matchup in this game. Memphis. Look at this one here. So they've already played twice. They played 2 times in San Antonio. So this is about 3 weeks ago they played. First meeting, Memphis 2.5-point favorites. And the total at that time was 239.5. So Memphis covered in 129-115, and it went over the total. Second game in San Antonio 2 days later. San Antonio was a 2-point favorite, and the total was 237. Memphis won 140-112, over 237. San Antonio they played last game, so they're right now 3-7 last 10. San Antonio 4-6 against the spread, and 8-2 to the over. Spurs right now, they've alternated wins and losses, so right now they're 2-3 last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over. I definitely have a play on this game for sure. Yeah, I have a play on this game for sure. Now on the Memphis side, 8-2 last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 8-2 to the over. Memphis has won 2 straight games. They are 4-1 last 5 and are 4-1 to the over. Both teams playing to the over. Yeah, the only way I can look in this game, I know head to head, Memphis has dominated this game. They've dominated the series, but the only way I'm going to look, for me, I like the over 241. Let's get the update. Yeah, 241.5. It's coming down to 240. So if you can get either 240 or 241, I still bet the over. I like the over in this game. It's over. That's the only way to play it. That's the only way to play this game. Next game, Indiana, Utah. Pacers -7 right now. Right now the spread is at 6.5. 236 the total in this game. Now it's gone up to 238.5. And we're even seeing 240. So look into this game, Indiana, to get the injury report. Pacers. Isaiah Jackson is out with the Achilles. James Wiseman is out. That's on the Indiana side. On the Utah side for the Jazz, Drew Banks traded to Indiana. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Drew Banks has been traded, so he's not with the team. Cody Williams is out indefinitely. So look into this one further. Indiana, Utah. Let's see. First meeting of the season between these two teams. So Indiana 8-2 last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 5-5 to the over. Indiana's won 3 straight games. They've covered the last 3 games. They've covered twice. They've covered 2 times out of the 3. They're 4-1 last 5 games. Pacers 4-1 to the over. Utah Jazz 2-8 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Jazz basically ended a 8-game losing streak. They beat Orlando at home as an underdog. And for the second consecutive game, they're an underdog again at 6.5 against Indiana. And Utah is 1-4 to the under. For me in this game, I like. Let me just look here. I know Indiana's been covering on the road. They have covered at. The San Antonio game was in Paris. That was a Paris game. They covered at Paris. So I don't know how much that counts for an actual road game. It was a neutral site game. Other than that, they covered at Detroit, at Golden State. I'm going to take Utah here. I'm going to lean to Utah. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I like the Jazz here. The numbers come down to 6.5. That's basically, it hasn't moved forward, so it's come back. So that's basically telling me that the Jazz have a little bit of fight in them. I know they're not playing well. They ended their 8-game losing streak. They won as a dog against Orlando. I think they're building I feel that they're building something here, from off that win against Orlando. You have something to build upon. So I like them here at the 6.5 plus 6.5. I like Utah here. I think they cover Indiana here. We know the Pacers have won 3 straight, like I said. They've covered two of their last 3 games, laying points. But I like Utah to stay within the number and keep it close. I mean, they are playing hard. Showed in the last game that they played against Orlando, they finally came through. So I like him here. I like him in this spot to cover the 6.5. That's my opinion for that. Next game, Denver at home, 13.5 at New Orleans Pelicans. This total here is 235. It's now at 239.5, and it's come all the way down to 11.5. Don't think I have a play on this game. I might have a play for props. I don't think I have a play on this game, but we'll go through the game. New Orleans, Zion Williams is upgraded to probable in this game. He has the illness, but he may play this game. He might be in the lineup since they've upgraded him, so it looks like he may be playing. DeJounte Murray, Achilles, is definitely out. He's not playing. Daniel Thesis is questionable to play Monday. Or Daniel Theis, I hope I pronounced that right. Questionable to play Monday with a thumb injury. Jordan Hawkins, illness, questionable to play. Herb Jones, shoulder out. Brandon Ingram is out indefinitely. Well, he's on the trading block. Brandon Ingram's on the trading block, so he might be traded. So that's why he might be out. He has the ankle injury, but he's still on the trading block, so he might be gone by the end of the week. We'll see. On the Denver side, for the Denver Nuggets, Peyton Watson, knee is out. Russell Westbrook, hamstring is... He might be up for this game. Let's check. Yep, he's out for the game. He's not going to be playing. Vijako Kankar out indefinitely. Like I said, this game's going to be a pass. I'm not touching this game at all. I'll look at some player props. That's it. So look at some Aaron Gordon props, Jokic props, Jamal Murray props. The numbers haven't come up for the props as yet. I'll discuss that in the next video for the top props for that game. Next game, Portland at Phoenix. 4.5 is Phoenix's number. Opening. That's the opening number. And it's at 231. Right now we're looking at 229.5, and it's at 5, and it's 229.5, and it's at -5. That's Portland, Phoenix. So let's see here. We'll look at the injury report for on the Phoenix side. Portland's have a look at it first. Portland's Robert Williams is questionable with a hand injury. Matthias Thybulle, he looks like he's out. We'll get a quick update. He's out indefinitely, yes. On the Phoenix side, for Phoenix, no injuries, they're healthy. Okay, so we'll look into this. I have a play on this game as well. I have a play on this one. But we'll look at the matchup. I believe they just played recently. Yeah, they played. This is the fourth and final meeting. So they played recently, February 1st. That was the last game in Portland. Total is 227 in that game. Phoenix favored by 5. Portland won 127-108. And it went over the total. The last two games they played was November 2nd in Phoenix. Phoenix won 103-97. They were a 13-point favorite, and Portland covered, and it went under the total, 229. The next game was in Phoenix, December 15th. Phoenix was an 11-point favorite, and at that time, Portland covered, but lost 116-109. It was under 230.5. So this is the final meeting between these two teams. You don't have to go over the records because they played the last game, like I said, February 1st. They just played about 2 days ago. So all I'm going to say for this game, I like Portland here. It's at 5 right now, I believe. Let me double check one more time. Yeah, it is. We're seeing 4.5, and some 5s are coming up. I like Portland here. Portland's been red hot. They've been covering spreads as an underdog, left, right, and center. So I'm going to keep riding that Portland train until it phases out. So for me, I like Portland here, +5. That's my play. For the total, I'm passing on the total. No play on that whatsoever. And for the final game, it's Orlando at Golden State. This one here is 2.5, total 216. We're seeing -3s come up, Golden State, and it's at 211. Actually, 211, let me see. We'll say 212.5. It's going at 212.5. We'll say that. I'm seeing after that some 213. So we'll say 212.5, the consensus. Now for the injury report for the on the Orlando side. Jalen Suggs is questionable to play Monday with a knee injury. Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Let's get the update here. Questionable to play Monday. He's resting, so he may or may not play. We'll see. Moritz Wagner out for the season. I'm going to guess Pope's going to play in this game. He's just resting, but I'm guessing he's going to play in this game. That's my guess. Golden State. Draymond Green. Upgraded, so he may be playing in this game. Let's see. Yeah, he's available on Monday. I guess his calf is rested enough where he can play on Monday. But Jonathan Kuminga, he's out with an ankle injury. So look into this game further. I do have a play on this game as well. This is the last game on the board. Orlando Golden State. First meeting of the season. Orlando right now is 2-8, the last 10 games. 2-8 against the spread. 4-6 to the under. The Magic have lost 3 straight games. They're on a 6-game road trip. This is the 4th game of the road trip. They're 0-3 on the road trip. And are 2-3 to the under. The last 5 games. 1-4 last 5. Golden State, 5-5 last 5. 5-5 against the spread. 7-3 to the over. Warriors 3-2 last 5 games. And they are 4-1 to the over. So Golden State's favorite here, 3. Yeah, my play on this game, I got to take Golden State on the money line. This is definitely a money line play. Yeah, this is a money line play, Golden State, for sure. I like him in this spot. They're catching Orlando at a good time. The Magic are faltering and they're falling like a ton of bricks. These 3 losses, the last 2 games... These guys are having a tough time scraping over, barely getting over 100 points against Western Conference teams. I'm seeing that here. I mean, they got 100 points against Denver, but barely against them. That's a Western Conference team. So, another thing that you're going to want to look at in this game, I would definitely look at a... I would take Golden State money line and look at an Orlando team total under, depending on what the number is. Because like I said, they're struggling badly on the road, especially against Western Conference teams. These guys have problems scoring. Like they're barely getting over 100 points. If they scrape it, they barely do. So I would look at under the team total for the Orlando Magic, and Golden State money line. That's my play for that. That's my play for that game. All right, so that does it for this edition of the NBA Morning Edition. Beat the Number. Thank you for joining me. My name is Abby. Whether you fit or follow these picks that I've made here, it's up to you. I just choose and see the picks that I like and what I see and feel at that particular moment. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you cash your tickets either way, whether you fit or follow. I hope you cash your tickets. Good luck. Stay true to yourself. Stay humble. Stay blessed. Believe in yourself. Peace. We'll see you later on today.